Hi everybody, welcome to the after party. My name's Christian. This is my sister Laura.
Hi.
And we are joined today by Trina. Hi Trina.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's all right.
Good. Thank you for coming on the show.
That's all right. Thanks for having me.
It's all right. Your nervousness is palpable, but it's
Is
okay.
it?
You're gonna be great. Trina and Laura, you've not really met properly before,
I've
have
heard
you?
a lot about you though, Trina.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no.
Trina, start
Okay.
from the beginning. Well, first of all, what are we doing here, Laura? Tell them what the show is, why we're here.
We are recording the after party. It is a podcast which focuses on the experiences, challenges of late diagnosed and late identifying neurodivergent adults.
Do you feel you fit into that category?
I definitely fit into that category.
Cool.
Yes.
So how did we first meet, Trina?
Oh, it was to do with She Who Shall Not Be Named.
Oh, okay.
We
It was a
referred to
little
her
bit
as
to
Voldemort.
Okay, well, let's
We'll have another conversation off camera.
Let's not talk about her, but
No.
let's talk about the...
So it was through music.
Through the music industry, yeah, okay. And so when did you first get involved in the music industry, Trina?
So I started my own business in 2015, but that was a virtual PA business because I had to settle the kids into school. And it's a ball ache when you've got young kids and trying to do everything and work and whatnot. So I gave up work and then I thought I need to do something. 17 million ideas for businesses. I mean, the signs were there.
Yeah.
But I started a virtual PA business in 2015. And that was great. It became an award-winning London Virtual PA of the Year 2019, which is brilliant. And then, of course, COVID hit and everyone became a virtual PA.
Yeah.
But luckily, I'd already in 2016 met a music producer who was being... so I was working with him and he was being extorted and exploited by his manager and his label. And I stupidly went, I'll manage you and I won't do that to you.
Okay.
And then he became a business partner, and 10 years later, I am stuck in the music industry.
So how did you meet this person, the producer?
Actually, all the work I got as a virtual PA was through word of mouth, so I can't really remember. I think I had a friend who worked at a radio station and put me in touch. I actually can't remember.
Okay. Did you have any sort of ideas and ambitions and goals to work in the music industry? No. None at all.
No, and if I could go back and change it, I probably would.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I'd always wanted to be in. I mean, my first ever job out of A levels was working. Not my first job, but my second job was working at ITV.
Okay.
And I kind of always thought that would be like a flow into what I always wanted to do creatively, was like acting and stuff like that. I realised that that's at odds with my inability to be on a video camera. But
you could be a voice actor like the Archers.
Maybe. But if I'm playing a character, I don't mind being on a video. It's weird. It's very weird. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm not sure the Archers are making the Big Bang either.
No. I mean, I'm not.
I might be
either,
wrong.
though, so.
But yeah. One quick thing. Can we address the dogs?
Oh yeah.
Because if people have just tuned in and they're probably thinking, what on earth is happening here? It's like a dog day crash.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
We're multitasking. We're good at that.
Address the dogs. So who is this?
This is George.
Right. What is George?
He's a shih tzu.
Right. And how old is George?
17 weeks.
Okay, cool. And this is pretty much what he does, right?
Yeah. He's literally
Chilled.
the easiest dog I've ever had.
Okay, fine.
Apart from
And
the fact he keeps weeing on the floor.
I don't know if the cameras can pick this one up, Milo, but there's the fox-looking thing on the floor.
Yeah, Milo's a Pomeranian. He's 3 years old. He's choking on a treat right now. He's my emotional support dog,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
He is.
I'm yet to meet many neurodivergent people who don't love animals.
I think what's really nice is that George and Milo only met today and they're just so chill together, aren't they?
Busy mates straight
Mates,
away.
that's
They
it.
were.
Yeah, okay. Right, so
Back on track.
Trina, neurodiversity. So when did that word first enter the thing?
Well, it's funny. When I was little, I used to get referred to as hyperactive. I would be running here, there and everywhere by my parents. although it was never really a thing, the ADHD or ADHD kids were the naughty ones, and I wasn't a naughty one.
No.
I was easily distracted, and I was too chatty, and all of that stuff. But I wasn't not as a primary school kid. I definitely wasn't that naughty. But the way it kind of really panned out was Andrew, the guy that I became business partners with. He was diagnosed with autism, which in hindsight, and it's probably a bit shitty to say, but it was like a no shit Sherlock situation, right? Incredibly talented man, great with maths, picked up a guitar at 4 and could play it. He got diagnosed with that, and then he started having therapy with the London Autism Charity, and their therapists are people who are neurodivergent. So in having this therapy, there was a lot they would talk about, and he would sit there coming out of it and going, so it's really useful for me. My God, that sounds like Trina. So it kind of spiraled from there, really. And it also turned out, because we were both on very different ends of the spectrum, we triggered each other a lot. So from a business perspective, it was brilliant to have that clarity.
So you mean you complemented each other?
Well, we did after we found out.
Yeah, because then you understood why each other was...
Before that, it was more like a brother and sister would argue, like we'd be annoyed by things, or the way I need something is very different to how he needs. Like if I ask a question, I just want an answer. I don't want to hear you talk around the answer. I just want that answer. Whereas his brain needed to talk around the answer to get to it. And I'm sitting there going, have you given me the answer? I don't want to decipher. It was funny, but that would have been in 2019 that he got his diagnosis. That would have been towards the end of 2019. Then obviously everything happened with COVID as well, which also adds another layer on, I think, for everyone. For him, he had just got a diagnosis where everything made sense and nothing did at the same time. And then he's put in solitary confinement, essentially, because of lockdown. So I think that also... he came and kind of joined our bubble for a while, which was good, because that isolation thing when you're neurodivergent as well is it's a tricky thing to navigate. But yeah, that's kind of where it came from. And I didn't start meds for a long time. In fact, I only started them last week. Partly because I've been on sertraline for a while, and that became my best friend. And I didn't want to mess with anything, but actually... these things are brilliant. Okay.
So you started ADHD medication?
Yes, last week.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So talk to us through that. So you would have had to have had a diagnosis then? So did you go to the GP?
I ended up going right to choose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And my son is waiting for his right to choose at the moment. And it was good. It was good, but it's still it's a long wait, and it's a long... I wish I had, do you know what I really wish I'd done is spoken to my parents. Hindsight's a great thing, right? And said, could you pay for me to go private 5 years ago, whenever it was, when I had to put my name down on a list in order to get the medication and stuff. Because the difference I felt, and maybe that's just because I've started them, it was to have clarity is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, the jaw clenching and all of that I could do without.
Yeah.
But the space to process, the space to get things that I'm not sitting in paralysis anymore. And that paralysis was a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you notice the difference the meds made pretty quickly then, yeah?
Instantly, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah.
Instantly.
Because you tried the meds, Laura, and it didn't click for you, right?
No, it didn't. And about 30% of people, medication doesn't work for them with ADHD. But I know other people, I've got other friends that are ADHD who literally just say it's changed their lives like, for the better. Like they literally can't function without them now. But I've found an SSRI for my anxiety so helpful.
Interesting.
In the last year particularly, I can really notice the difference that has just taken that edge off my anxiety, has given me the clarity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
that's so interesting, because potentially one of the things I don't have And one of the side effects that they said I'd get from the medication is that it will
more
heighten my anxiety.
yeah.
But I'm not an anxious person. I'm more a depressive person than an anxious person. And that's what I was really worried about, suddenly becoming an anxious person. And that hasn't happened yet.
That's good.
Touch wood.
No,
but it's amazing how different everyone's ADHD.
Yeah, everyone's
Absolutely,
different, yeah.
Yeah, well, it just
Shows
goes
up.
back to the whole thing about when at school is being sort of chatty, which is very much you.
What you've just described. So I wasn't naughty. Well, I was naughty at school, but I never ever wanted to get caught. So I was terrified of getting into trouble. But I also found it really hard to sit still, really hard to concentrate, focus. I used to get so worried about, my homework and like not being able to do it or forgetting it. And so I was probably described at primary school as being very similar to you. It was sort of later that the more obvious sort of naughty behaviours became apparent.
And I think there were a lot of glaring signs. Like my family are quite religious, and I just have no belief in any of that stuff whatsoever. And I was told that neurodivergent people do struggle with things like that. Yeah,
I think because it's a concept, isn't it? I think we struggle with things that are not tangible. We can't touch them.
Yeah. And then there's the other, there's so many different things. There's the paralysis, the executive function paralysis. That was huge for me. And I think there was a lot of things that happened at the same time, whether it's divorce I was going through or bereavement or, all of those things happening at the same time and losing track of who I was. Suddenly I'm like, I'm all of these things and I'm neurodivergent.
Yeah.
And I think the medication has just kind of pulled it all into...
Yeah.
like a neat. It's
neat.
it's
neatened it up.
Yeah, okay.
And
Makes sense.
Desperately need that, and I desperately crave routine and all that stuff. It's just I couldn't get myself into it.
So you diagnosed autistic and ADHD?
No, I'm waiting on the autism.
You are,
I've got a feeling that there might be a little touch of that.
Yeah, same. Yeah, and you.
Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about.
The man that lines cans up in the fridge.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, it's nice to know exactly what you've got when you want it.
Yeah.
So putting them in any old order, what on earth is that all about?
Yeah.
I mean, if you'd seen the fridge when Mum was alive, you'd understand exactly.
I imagine that's exactly what my fridge.
But
looks
my
like
fridge
right
is
now.
like
I just
that.
throw it all
My
in.
fridge is like Jenga. Everything's like balancing on each other.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
I actually had two friends around the other day. One of them is diagnosed ADHD. The other one, we were saying probably should be. And they both went to my fridge and were like, "Oh my God, Laura!" I mean, it's literally like shove everything in.
That's exactly
That's
what
what I
mine
do.
is.
Door.
There's stuff in there from I don't know how long.
Yeah.
No, I just can't have it.
Yeah.
And like I know, like might be joking about the fridge. It's like kind of like a microcosm, isn't it? It's like it's emblematic of the whole bigger picture for me.
Yeah.
And that my mum had, I say terrible ADHD. It's the wrong way of putting it. Her ADHD was pretty bad, and I think that it manifested itself negatively in my mum. Right.
In some ways,
Yeah, not in all ways.
Particularly like the way that she ran our house, for example. I mean, it was just unbelievable, wasn't it? Chaos.
Yeah.
But
Just
I
It's tough
think
as well, I imagine.
But I think
for her.
it is tough. I think it was in some ways it was quite hard growing. No, it wasn't hard growing up like that because that was our norm, wasn't it? But I can remember going to school. Sorry, Mum, but I can remember going to school wearing damp school uniform because Mum hadn't.
Really don't want to get my daughter in here
No.
so she could just corroborate all of this stuff.
I would argue, though, without getting too deep into the psychology, that my reaction to that has been, right, I don't like that. I'm going to do the opposite.
Yeah.
And my mum's reaction, you could argue, was the exact opposite to her mum.
Right,
because her mum was like...
So militant,
it wasn't...
Feels the same for me, actually.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got on
It
a
does
right
become-
tangent
No, but that's...
there.
We're talking,
And also, when you think about, your mum's doing as best as she can with the tools she's given at the time, because this stuff, again, just wasn't...
she was always doing
talked
1,000 things at once.
Yeah.
She had
But it
1,000
was-
places to be, and
It's interesting, actually. When I had my ADHD assessment, I didn't tell my parents I was having it done because I think part of me was worried that they would be, particularly Mum, would be a bit like, what's the point of doing that? Why are you doing that? So I didn't. So I explained to the psychiatrist that I didn't want my parents to complete the paperwork, and they said that's absolutely fine. It won't.
Oh,
impact
that's
it.
cool.
Yeah. What was really lovely was that when I got the diagnosis, and I remember thinking, right, I need to tell my mum. Dad wouldn't. Dad would just be like, wouldn't care. But I wanted to tell mum. And what was so lovely is she said, "Oh wow," she said, "that's really interesting." She said, "I think I am too." And
Did she say that?
Yeah.
To you? Right. Trina, music industry. This is the bit where I want to dig into, get deep. Right. So, when you first told me that you were neurodivergent, it would have pricked my ears up. But one of the things that you talked to me a bit about was some of the work that you had done within the music industry, finding out more about neurodiversity within the music industry and how people are treated.
I think my feelings, I'm backwards and forwards on my feelings in the music industry. I went to IMS in April, and I was on a panel.
Can you just say what IMS is?
IMS is the International Music Summit.
Okay.
That's for electronic and dance.
Oh, wow.
And it's every year in Ibiza.
Oh, amazing.
It's fantastic.
It's kind of the start of the season, isn't it?
Everyone's
really?
so happy. Everyone has budget. And they put on some really incredible panels and performances, and it opens the season with a huge nighttime performance. And I was put on a panel this year. Can't for the life of me remember what the panel was called. But it was to do with self-care and things like that. And there were quite a few of us on the panel. All of whom I believe are neurodivergent. Tristan Hunt, who is, I don't know if you've heard of Tristan Hunt.
I have, yeah.
He was on the panel as well. For those listening, he is an ADHD coach who works within the music industry. And I will always, the one thing I will take away from it, Frances, who was sat next to me, she said, in answer to someone's question, we all have to remember we're really lucky to work in this industry. And I forget that all the time. I don't think my mental health has ever taken a beating as much as it did moving into the music industry. Had I had my diagnosis beforehand, would it have made a difference? I don't think so. Because I really struggle with the mentality of, if there was a lifeboat sinking in the music industry, everyone would be like clambering for themselves.
Yeah.
It's not about lifting others at the same time. And watching that play out in real time, or how people treated each other, people who could be like so close, and then the slightest thing, that really affected me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I bet.
And I think, again, part of the reason that happens is because we are an industry full of neurodivergent people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you think you're on a career path and everything's going really, really well, and then you just get dropped.
Yeah.
And it's not, as a neurodivergent person, that literally could be the worst thing in the world. Like it ruins your life. And then there doesn't seem to be that.
Yeah.
There's so many,
support.
it's so new. Like it's a subjective subject, right? Music is subjective.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer.
So if your label drops you, you know, maybe there's another one that will pick you up.
Yeah.
But also, just because somebody likes your music doesn't mean everyone's going to like your music. And I think that there's an awful lot, especially now we're at an age where anyone can release music.
Yep.
Yeah.
What were we thinking?
Well, it's also not only that, but not only can anyone release music, but then anybody can also promote themselves. So everybody can have their own little cottage industry.
Yep.
And so
the little echo chambers.
Yeah, it became so easy for people, for A&R at all the record labels to rather than, you know, boots on the ground, going to gigs, seeing these people, was watching TikTok.
Yeah.
Well, this is a
YouTube,
real issue I have with A&R. Like, why aren't, I mean, maybe there are, I've not looked into it. We need A&R
for the listener, A&R, explain what an A&R is, because not everyone.
I think you should explain what an A&R is. You work in music too.
Well, yeah, it is, but I was just giving you the opportunity to talk. It's artists and repertoire is what it used to stand for, but it's what it still stands for. But it's like a bit like saying R&B no longer really means rhythm and blues. Yeah, and so basically, an A&R agent is somebody who is looking after an artist and is presenting them with material. And so they are the conduit between the label and the songwriters and producers and blah, 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 blah.
Or they find the artist.
Yes, they can. Yes, so
You
they
know,
quite
it's like
often
they're the
find-
crate diggers of the, for want of a better term. That's
Like the
probably a very
scouts.
old term to use.
it's a bit
as
like
well.
a scout.
Bit like
Yeah,
a
that's a good
scout,
way of putting
yeah.
it. Yeah, and so their job is it used to be going out there and finding talent, and then if they
Developing the sound.
correct,
And,
and
you
if
know,
they had a budget from the label, then they would basically take that artist, and if they were
and
successful,
you back that artist,
yeah.
right? You back it for a long period of time, not just one viral moment, which is what we've ended up in.
Yeah.
And it saddens me that music isn't about music. And it saddens me that we don't have people being trained in what an A&R is. It's just someone out of school, not necessarily out of school, but someone
Quite often.
swiping through
Yeah.
Yeah,
for a viral moment.
Yeah.
These people get picked up. They think they're gonna. That's it. They've made
Yeah.
it, and it's just that one
no,
song.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
And
there's so many other elements to it as well. The record industry is very transient anyway. I mean, I've been in and out of the music industry for 25 years, and so I knew people at a label, and then a year later you'd go back to that person. They'd be like, "Oh no, they've gone, they've moved on." And it's a never-ending circle.
Yeah.
No one ever knows whether they're coming or going. The other thing as well that happens a lot is that they'll have a new CEO, a new director, a new shake-up, right? And they'll go in there, and the first thing they do is they get rid of everybody.
And it's even worse when you're in the middle of a contract negotiation
Yeah.
for an artist, and a new person comes in. It's gone. That's it. If you haven't done the deal in that point, it's gone. And then someone's whole life has collapsed.
Yeah, that's what it must be terrible.
So this is something that I won't mention his name, but it's a very well-known executive I know that this is something that he really wanted to work on with the labels. It was the idea, basically, you're out on your ear.
Yeah.
What now?
Wow.
And after Liam Payne passed away, that was 2 years ago now.
Yeah,
was it,
coming up
was it a year
to-
ago?
Coming
Whatever.
up to 2 years in October.
Okay. So there was a lot of talk then of people saying we can't have this anymore. And so at the time when it's hot off the press,
Yeah.
and everyone's talking about it and going, we need to do something about this. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Because it becomes yesterday's news very, very quickly.
Really, really, really murky, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, and the label thing's interesting in terms of, how big the industry is and all the different moving parts within it. If you're at a label, and I'm just reverting this back to me as a female getting on, perimenopause, ADHD, of course, perimenopause, and
Yeah.
and ADHD is just, they're not friends.
No.
But if you work at a label and you're a woman in advancing years, and you get made redundant, you're very unlikely to get a job at
Yeah.
another label. It is an age thing there.
Yeah.
And that is, we've just relaunched Women in Music UK. We've soft launched it last year. We're going to properly launch it this year, but we want to focus on helping our peers. There's so many organisations helping the emerging people coming in and working.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we can help women, neurodivergent people, older executives within the industry who have, put the years in, be able
Yeah.
to pivot into other roles and
Yeah.
things like that. So that's quite a big thing that we want to do. But it's very interesting that your friend wants to do something as well. So
Yeah.
So I think what's really sad is that a lot of the young people that I've worked with have really struggled in school, and they've been considered not to be successful in school because they've really struggled at the maths, the English, the science, the way that we kind of judge academic attainment. But they've really shone in things like music or art or drama or sport, something different. So I can imagine, if you've had that experience of education and then you think you've made it in an industry like the music industry, and then you're not back again, it's almost like a double whammy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like a point in their lives where people think, I do feel accepted. I do feel like I've got something of value. I do feel like what I'm good at is being finally recognised.
It's
But
the industry. What do we change though? Anyone can be an artist. The industry has to be brutal. People have to be able to be told it's not good enough
Yeah.
or this isn't for us.
Yeah.
So how do we help that?
It's a tough one. I think that so there's a few things which are not right. And there's the massive kind of top heavy top 5% of people within the music industry are making an absolute fortune right now. How can it be? There's certain people within certain media organizations who are billionaires who are making money off people's creativity. Now, I understand that some people are doing very, very well out of it, but a lot of people are making nothing.
Majority of people aren't making anything.
Not making anything. So
there's
there's something
with streams, and your streams earn you nothing.
Yeah. So if a lot of bands, the only way that they can survive is by gigging, selling merchandise, but they're living hand to mouth. It's not like they're going home and saying, right, I can take 4 months off now to do my next album. A lot of people are paying for their own albums, so they've bypassed the record label.
Yeah.
I get it. There are lots of really, really good things about the music industry these days, or just technological advancements that makes it easier for people to record and put out their own music. But there isn't enough being done at the label position to protect
labels.
People
don't really do anything.
No.
And that's probably going to get me in trouble. But there was a time when labels would develop artists. That falls on the manager now. The manager who doesn't get paid because it's commission, and I'm so anti-traditional management deals.
Yeah.
They have to do everything. They have to do it all. The label put the music out and put some PR behind it.
Yeah.
That's where we are. And hopefully, they work the tracks and it will get a sync or it will. But, you can do that yourself without giving it away.
Yeah. I think for me, when the whole thing with Liam Payne happened a few years ago, I thought the best solution was that if you were going to sign somebody, you had to automatically assign a certain amount of money put aside to say, right, if we drop you, there's a safety net here, a bit like an employee.
When you say a safety net, do you mean as in a sum of money, or this is how much we're going to spend on giving you someone to talk to help you through?
Both.
Could be both.
But I think it also comes back again. My background's education. I think it also comes back to like looking at education. What you've been saying, Trina, is when you really want to become a musician and you're neurodivergent, you will have that absolute monotropic hyper focus on becoming a musician. And I think we need to look at the education system and think, okay, there are these really talented individuals, whether it's music or, like I said earlier, sport or art or everything. We need to make sure that we're giving them the absolute best shot to get those, but we're also giving them other skills as well, so that if those things don't work, they've got things to fall back on,
including relationship building, because a huge part of this industry is relationship. And this leads me on to the whole self-medication thing, which is prevalent with neurodivergent people. What's it, 9 out of 10 neurodivergent people become addicted to self-medicating. We're also in an industry where everything is based around alcohol and drugs. Put that together, my God.
Well, there you go. You're the perfect example.
So, there's a lot of stuff to protect, but it works. It's not just artists. Artists you shouldn't expect your A&R guy, when you had them, to be doing coke with you in the toilet at 2 in the morning. There is a duty of care for everyone. And we spend a lot of time talking about protecting artists. We've got to protect everyone. An artist isn't, he's not an island. He's got all of these people around them potentially. And, as a manager, this is going to get on my high horse now, but as a manager and a member of the MMF, I adhere to a code of conduct as a manager, how I'm going to behave within my role. And part of that is looking after the mental health of the people that I work with. And I take that very seriously. I'm mental health first aid trained. All of that stuff is really important. Where is the code of conduct for artists? There are so many more artists now than there are.
Very true.
And that's something that I'm looking into, because there needs to be. So don't phone me on a Sunday while I'm having dinner with my kids and say, you've got a girl pregnant, what do I do? True story. I say, phone your mum, because I don't want this call from my own son. This is, there's certain things like that. Don't expect your A&R guy to be, your roadie to be finding the nearest dealer in Ibiza. Do you know what I mean? Just don't do it. Or how do we support stopping it? Or things like that. And there's just so many different avenues within this that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm not saying it's only neurodivergent people, but we're more prone to it because of the dopamine hit, because of addiction, because of all of that stuff, because we feel we need to fit in to bring us into a room. Like, you know, cocaine, people who are neurodivergent, brings them into a room.
And alcohol.
It does, and alcohol.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily make them overly chatty and gurning like some other people. It just brings you into a room.
Yeah.
And we did a survey a few years ago, which didn't really go anywhere in the end, sadly, but it was asking these questions, and that's kind of what we found out from it. So,
well, that's what I think that at some point it would be really good for you. I'm sorry, I don't tell you what to do, but I just but to dig back into that.
Yeah,
again.
I
think
it's
it's so valuable.
Yeah,
and I felt that there was enough of a shift a few years ago where I think people were more receptive to it.
Yeah,
and I actually think that people are probably much more receptive to it now than they would have been.
I think people are sick
of
surveys, and I one of my biggest struggles is form filling.
Same.
I hate
filling
it.
forms out.
I hate it. So I need to maybe find another way of doing it. I mean, we got some really interesting insights, and we did it with the University of Bedfordshire, and the guy who runs the London Autism Charity. He's a professor there. And then we were trying to get it published, and then it kind of just fell off. So we need to relook at doing that.
Do you know what I think? It probably this is one idea. It popped into my head. So if you go into financial institutions, I mean, obviously they've got different budgets, but a lot of them will have in-house psychologists, in-house coaches, okay? And they are there, let's not fool ourselves, they're there to get the best out of the staff,
they work for the company.
employee, of course, for the benefit of the company. But if they've got psychologists and coaches there, then you have to think that is going to be doing them some good as well.
Yeah.
I personally think that is what the record industry needs to do.
It's funny, all of the labels have like little departments like that. It's almost maybe, I don't know, a tick box exercise.
Yeah.
But when we were doing the survey, I'd gone, and I won't mention the name of the social media, but quite a big one that I also struggle with, because neurodivergent people and this swiping thing is, anyway, that's a whole different topic. But they were basically selling to us, this is how you do the next year on this app. And afterwards, we went out to them and said, we're doing this survey. What do you have in place for neurodivergent people at your company?
Yeah.
And she looked at us and went, what's neurodivergent?
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
And then
because it probably is just a tick box.
And then she gave the
exercise.
email address and said, look, email, we want to find out more. Did we get a response?
No.
Of all the artists that you've managed, particularly thinking about women, what percentage do you reckon are neurodivergent?
I have a lot more experience managing men.
Oh, okay.
But the women that I've managed, I actually, do you know what? This goes back to the point earlier. Women are very good at masking.
Yeah, true.
So of the women, I would say that 2 were definitely diagnosed.
Yeah.
I would probably hazard a guess that the majority of them are, because they're in music and they're creatives.
Yeah.
But I don't know that, okay, it feels like where they live will make a difference into how it's, I have some in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Very much supported by their family, and, maybe it's less of a need to find myself sort of situation. I think it's all personal experience that kind of pushes you into whether you think you are or you're not. I think there was a time when everyone started saying, it's my ADHD, like it was a throwaway, flippant comment.
Definitely.
But actually, I think there's weight in that. Many a true word spoken in jest and all of that. And I used to get that with a lot of the female artists. It was almost like they were making an excuse for making a mistake.
Okay.
And that's, we're human.
Make a mistake,
But potentially it was an ADHD thing.
Yeah.
And I think that, there's definitely, I don't know what the percentage are, whether more men are diagnosed than more women. I don't know.
The more men are diagnosed.
Right.
Yeah.
I think women are just, keep
better at
calm and
hiding
carry
it.
on, or masking. And masking is exhausting.
It is, yeah.
Trina, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I feel like we could talk for
Yeah, absolutely.
Ages.
And we will. Small little hopes for the future. You don't have to go mad.
Oh, I'd like to earn some money in the music industry. That would be nice.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd like to see some small changes being made. I mean, it's an industry where, there are a lot of tick box exercises going on. It is a lot of unless something changes at the top, nothing's going to change. And at the moment,
Yeah,
we're in an
it's
industry
true.
that's run by straight white men.
Yeah.
No offense. Certain things need to change, and I would like to think that I can play a small part in that
Yeah,
through Women in
definitely.
Music.
Yeah.
And I'm on the board of AFM, so hopefully within the electronic music world, we're making a difference. With Women in Music, we're going to set our manifesto out later this year, but it is about safety
Yeah.
in the industry, within studios and things like that. It's about highlighting our male allies. We don't want to be another women's group that's sat there like being really down on men. Like there are men out there that are supporting the women within the
100%.
industry. We want to champion women who've been in the industry for a very long
Yeah.
time, and not
Yeah.
just the same faces that you see buying onto like Music Week awards and stuff like that. Like real people who have been like the heartbeat of other people's careers, and they are in their 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s, and celebrate them and the neurodivergent people, non-binary, all of that. We just want to all come together and just let's build this together.
Yeah, I mean, Trina, I think one of the things that's always really impressed me about you is that you're very good at kind of just pushing things forward, like inserting yourself into this and like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You're very dynamic,
thank you.
and also
Very
Some ADHD
charismatic.
for someone as well who hasn't been in the music industry all that long
10 years,
and kind of found yourself doing it sort of by accident, is that you've reached a pretty high level anyway, executively. I mean, I know that, speaking from experience, we're great if we could all earn a little bit more money. Don't get me
Just any
wrong.
would be great.
Yeah, but the fact that you kind of got yourselves in with these groups and stuff, people will listen to you.
I hope so.
And so
Or,
that's why I think doing things like this are really, really important. Because the only way that anything's going to change is by kicking it up the arse.
and I
Things
don't need
don't
people
change.
to agree with me on it. I just
No.
need the conversation to
Yeah.
start.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
You've
you.
been
Thank you,
listening to
Trina.
the after party. My name's Christian. This is Laura, my sister. We've got George here. If you're listening to the Spotify thing, he can't talk. But if you're watching, he's a very attractive dog. Got Milo down there, fast asleep.
Yeah.
Trina, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you all again soon. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.